Alrighty, mic testing, mic testing. Okay, perfect. Let me go to my main camera. Right here. Alrighty, we're live. And let me just get in the center of my screen. There we go. Alright, we're live. And as you guys can tell by the title and thumbnail, today I'm going to be going over delete and I forgot what was the second keyword actually. Delete and some keyword. Actually, let me check what keyword was it. Guys, I didn't have time to research or do anything on this topic because I just came from college. That's it. It was delete and some other keyword. I'm pretty sure it was end keyword. Delete and end keyword. Actually, delete and start keyword. I worked on pointers last stream and the stream before that. That said, I'm going to be working more on pointers this stream. So let me go to my gameplay screen. Okay, perfect. And then check if my stream's going good here. Okay, perfect. Alright, let me say, let's say I'm live. Let's say I'm live, exclamation. Okay, perfect. Okay, people, welcome back to the battlefield. You've returned once again to face the beast called C++ and the chat shall witness your growth today. Every keystroke will echo through the halls of logic and precision. Here's your code for today to sharpen your mind before we begin. First, solve the problem, then write the code. John said. Okay, now tell me my pupil, what shall we conquer this stream? Shall we continue where we left off with vectors or dive straight into world dynamics, memory, the new and delete keyword battlefield? Let me say something like, let's say, can we work with the new and delete keyword question mark? And guys, let me actually check if my stream's actually working good because it feels a little weird because I feel like the YouTube changed their stream logo or something, or like the streaming outlet or template. Okay, give me a sec, guys. Let me actually check that. Okay, let's see if the stream's going good. Okay, I think it's going good. Alrighty, that said, excellent choice, my people. You've chosen the path of power where memory itself bends to your will. The new and delete keyword. The new and delete keywords. Did I write the end keyword? Guys, did I add a wrong thumbnail? So let me actually check. I wrote delete and start. Okay, it's new and end, guys. I think my thumbnail is wrong. Okay, keywords are what separates coder from a true warrior. Let's begin your training. Listen, the new and delete keyword. New allocates a variable or an array in the heap memory, not the stack. It returns a pointer to the allocated memory, example, integer pointer. So we created a pointer with the dereferencing operator, which equals to a new integer. And guys, I will change my thumbnail and title after the stream because apparently it was wrong. Okay, allocates memory for one integer, and then I went with a dereferencing operator of pointer, which equals to 10, assign value. Standard console output with an insertion operator. I go with my PDR, the output is 10, so my PDR variable with the dereferencing operator, okay. Or for arrays, integer array equals to new integer at index of 5. Honestly, this feels like an array, okay, which consists of 5 integers or which consists of 5 elements. Allocate space for 5 integers. Delete, freeze, deallocates. Delete, freeze means deallocates memory. Okay, that was allocated with new. If you don't forget to delete, your program can leak memory, a deadly sin in C++. Delete PDR, freeze string, okay, freeze single integer, delete a pair of square brackets, array, freeze array from memory. In short, new allocates, okay, means creates, delete, deallocates, destroys. Always pair them properly or you leave memory ghost haunting your program. Okay, I think I see. And honestly, guys, should I like fix my thumbnail? Actually, not thumbnail, my title real quick. I think I should fix my title real quick. Let me just go here and fix my title real quick. Okay, guys, this is the code from my last stream, so I'll just go with the Control A and delete all this because I didn't have time to stream. I didn't have time to practice off stream. That said, let me go to something like manage videos. Okay, so it's new and end. I don't know, for some reason I wrote it as new or like delete and start. Okay, so let me go all the way there, change it to new and delete. So I'll go with new and delete keywords. Okay, perfect. Alright, let me get Sensei slash ChatGPT back here. Okay, let's see. So our first instructional based question is create a program that asks the user how many numbers they want to store, dynamically allocates memory using new, takes input for those numbers, prints them all, frees the memory using delete. Okay, let me get Sensei slash ChatGPT there. I think I actually might have understood how to do this. Guys, I'm not 100% sure because this is like a new topic. I should have done some research before I started streaming. That said, I'll start off by including a pair of ankle braces, IO stream. So I want to include IO stream. And then I'll go ahead and typecast my main function to be an integer. So I'll go with integer main, add a pair of curly braces. Okay, next up, let's read the first instruction. It says, ask the user how many numbers they want to store. Okay, dynamically allocate memory using new. So I could go with something like integer of ask. Okay, and then let's go ahead and add a standard console output with an insertion operator. This is going to say something like, how many numbers do you want to store? Question mark. Okay, so how many numbers do you want to store? There we go. I'll end that with a semicolon and then add a standard console input with an extraction operator. I want to extract my ask variable. Okay, so next up, take those inputs. Okay, take inputs for those numbers. I take them inside of my ask variable, print them all. Okay, so I gotta print them all. So let me go ahead and add something like a standard. Wait, it says okay, so ask the user how many numbers they want to store. Dynamically allocate memory using new. Okay, take input for all those numbers. Oh wait, I think I gotta do like, I might have to create a new variable because it says dynamically allocate memory using new. So I could go with integer. Honestly, I might actually ask a question here. Let's go with a comment. Okay, so I'll go with integer question mark dot dot dot. Okay, let me go with a control C, copy this whole thing, get Sensei slash ChatGPT here. Okay, let me go ahead and paste this, go with shift enter, and say dot dot dot. I feel like I didn't understand how to use the new keyword. Can you explain it again? Question mark. Okay, let's see. So you dare step into the realm of memory without fully understanding? Good, that means you actually care about mastering it, not just memorizing it. So listen closely, people. Step by step, Neil explained. When you normally create an array like this, so integer array 5, this array lives in a stack memory. It has a fixed size decided before the program runs. Okay, I see. But if you don't know how many elements you need until the program runs, that's where new comes in. It lets you ask the computer for memory at runtime. Example, single variable. So we go with integer pointer. So we create a pointer which equals to new integer. Allocate one integer on the heap. Honestly, I've never heard of heap. I should ask, what does that mean? And then I go with PTR equals to 42. Assign value using dereferencing. Okay. Standard console output prints 42. Delete PTR. Free memory. Okay, new integer creates one integer in heap memory, returns a pointer to it. That's why we use integer, okay. And then delete PTR releases it back to the system. Example, dynamic array. So we go with integer size, enter a size for the array. And then we go with integer array equals to new integer size. Okay, I think I see. Create an array in heap memory. And then we iterate over our array. So for every integer of I which equals to 0, while our I is less than our size variable, we're going to increment our I by 1, and then we go with a standard console input with an extraction operator. Okay, we go with array at index of I. Normal array syntax works. Okay, next up we go with another for loop. So for every integer of I which equals to 0 while I is less than our size variable, we increment our I by 1, and then we go with a standard console output with an insertion operator that says array at index of I that is separated by an empty space. Lastly, we delete our array, clean up memory. Okay, key rules. If you use new, you must use delete. If you used new, you must use delete. Oh, if you use new with a pair of square brackets, okay, so in this case, we did use square brackets, so I gotta use delete with square brackets. Okay, I think I see. Okay, that said, so firstly, I ask the user for entering a number. Next up, I gotta create an integer of, let's say, something like a pointer, which is equal to, let's go with integer. Okay, so I gotta go with an integer of my new keyword, okay, at index of my ask variable. I'm pretty sure this is how we did it, right? Honestly, did I do something wrong here? So new integer. Oh, I see. Okay, so let's go with a new integers. New integer, there we go. I'll end that with a semicolon. Next up, let's see what the instruction says. Let me scroll all the way up. Okay, maybe higher. Okay, there we go. Okay, it takes input for all those numbers. So if my user entered 3 numbers here, my array size is going to be 3. So let's go with a for loop. So I'll go with something like for a pair of parentheses. Let's say for every integer of I, which equals to 0, while my I is less than my ask variable, I'm going to increment my I by 1. And then I'll go with a pair of curly braces. Okay, next up, let's see. I don't need to add a while here. There we go. Okay, while my I is less than my ask variable, I increment it by 1, and then I do something. I gotta ask the user to enter numbers. So I could go with something like a standard console output with an insertion operator. This is gonna say something like enter a number. Okay, I'll end that with a semicolon, and then let me go ahead and add a standard console input with an extraction operator. I want to extract something. Okay, should I create like another number? I could like create, another variable. Okay, let's go with something like an integer variable of number. Okay, I want to extract my number, and once I extract my number, I want to add that number inside of my array. Honestly, I actually forgot how to add inside my array. Since it's not a vector, I can't use my push underscore back function. Okay, so actually, I might look at the reference code for like, whatchamacallit, how since I actually added something inside the array because I forgot that part. Okay, so I just went with array at index of I, so I could go with my pointer at index of I. Okay, I gotta ask that question that why did I go with my pointer at index of I? So let's go with PDR at index of I. Okay, okay, there we go. Alright, next up, I'm pretty sure I gotta like decrement my I by 1. So I'll go with I minus minus. Alright, next up, let's read the next instruction. Okay, so it says to print them all and then free the memory using the delete function. So let me go ahead and print my my array. So to print my array, I'll iterate over it. I'll go with a for loop. So for a pair of parentheses. Okay, so for every integer of I which equals to 0. Okay, I'm going to do something. While my I is less than my ask variable, I'm going to increment my I by 1. Honestly, I could have printed it inside my for loop, but I'll add a separate for loop. I'll go with a pair of curly braces and then add a standard console output with an insertion operator. I want to insert, let's see, for every integer of I. Okay, so I honestly want to insert my pointer. So pointer at index of I with a dereferencing operator. I'm pretty sure I gotta use a dereferencing operator. Okay, honestly, never mind, I don't. Okay, and then I'll add another insertion operator of an empty space ending with a semicolon. That said, I'm pretty sure that's pretty much it. Outside my for loop, let me go with a standard, let's say console output with an insertion operator of a standard end line ending with a semicolon. And then I'm gonna return 0. Okay, perfect. If I were to hit Control S, let me just fix my return typo. Okay, if I were to hit Control S to save the code and run the command, let's see what we get. Okay, how many numbers you want to add? I want to store like 3 numbers. Enter a number. I'll go with 2, 3, 4. Then maybe 5. Okay, doesn't this decrement? I went with like subtract my I by 1. So honestly, should I go with my pointer? I think I need to go with my pointer. There we go. This should make more sense. Okay, now if I hit Control S and run the code again, How many numbers? I want to store 3 numbers. I'll go with 2, 3, 4. Okay, perfect. I feel like I get the memory address of my numbers instead of my actual number. Oh, that is because this is my number. Okay, I might not need my PTR variable. Okay, I think I messed up somewhere. Did I? So standard console output, I go with pointer at index of I that is separated by an empty space. Okay, let's just go with the control C, copy that, get /ChatGPT here. Okay, let's go ahead and paste. Let's go with shift enter and say something like, let's say, I feel like I messed up somewhere, question mark. Did I understand the concept of the new and delete keyword, question mark? Okay, let's see. I might need to review in my keywords. People, you dare step into the memory realm and then turn your pointer backwards into the void. You understood the concept, but you've committed one grave mistake in the execution, one that would make even the compiler weep. Let's dissect the damage. The mistake: inside your first loop, PTR minus minus, that single line moves your pointer backwards in the memory each time you take input, which means after the first input, your pointer starts pointing to the memory that doesn't belong to you anymore. But by the end, your pointer is completely off the allocated region and the second loop is reading garbage memory. This is undefined behavior, your worst enemy in C++. Oh, I think I see how to fix it. You should not move the pointer at all. You already have access to each element using pointer at index of I, so your code should be include a pair of anchor braces IO stream, then integer main. Okay, that integer PTR equals to new integer. Okay, actually a new array which only consists of integers. Allocate memory dynamically, and then I iterate. Okay, and then I go with a for loop. So for every integer of I which equals to 0 while my I is less than as, I increment it by 1. And then I went with a standard console output, enter a number, a standard console input with an extraction operator, pointer at index of 1. Okay, I'm pretty sure I did this. And then for every integer of I which equals to 0 while my I is less than my ask, I increment it by 1. Okay, I think I see. I actually didn't have to decrement it from here, but since I didn't have to decrement it, okay, I think I actually see. I might have to ask, what does heap mean? Let's go with something like, let's say, what more question ... What does heap mean, question mark? Although before I send this message, let me actually try to fix my code. So let me go ahead and remove that. So I think I gotta ask like one more question, that when we're iterating over arrays or getting user input for arrays, unlike while loops, we don't have to like decrement the numbers. Okay, and I did forget to end my line as well, or use the delete keyword. So let me go ahead and delete. Let's delete my pointer. Okay, ending with a semicolon. And since my new keyword has a pair of square brackets, my delete keyword will have a pair of square brackets as well. If I were to go with Ctrl S to save the code and run the command, let's see what I get. How many numbers do you want to store? I want to store 3 numbers. Enter a number 4, 2, 5. Okay, perfect. So let's go with a Ctrl C, copy that, get /ChatGPT here again. Okay, maybe go with Shift Enter, paste that, Shift Enter again, and say something like, so let's say, so we don't need to decrement our let's see, our pointer if we use for loops, question mark. Is that just for while loops? Okay, I'm pretty sure it is just for while loops. That does make sense now. Good, you're asking the right questions, pupil. That's the smell of progress. Let's untangle both of your questions one by one, because they're tightly woven threads of understanding what heap means. When your program runs, memory is divided into regions. The two we care about right now. Okay, stack fast automatic memory used for things like local variables. When a function ends, the memory is automatically cleared. Okay, I think I see. Integer x equals to 5 stored on stack. Number 2, heap, slow but flexible. Howdy, Wayland, I appreciate you joining the stream. Okay, used when you need memory that lives beyond the scope of a single function. Yo, howdy, Sakik, I appreciate you joining the stream. Okay, used when you need memory that lives beyond the scope of a single function whose size isn't known at compile time. You manage it manually using new and delete. Okay, example, we go with integer ptr, which equals to new integer. Allocate the heap, delete ptr, you must free it. Okay, I think I see. If you forget delete, the chunk of memory stays occupied forever until the program ends. This is called a memory leak. Okay, and memory leaks are the silent assassins of performance. About PDR and loops, you ask. So we don't need to define our PDR if we use for loops. Okay, is just for while loops. No, people, the pointer is independent of the loop type. You only need the pointer declaration integer PDR equals to new integer ask. That pointer already knows where the array lives. Okay, actually I think I see. Okay, let me say something like, let's say, learn about time and space complexity. Honestly, I might actually check that a bit. Okay, so let's say I think that I understand ... That said, can I get another question mark? I feel like I just need more practice. Okay, good. You're finally starting to grasp the power of new and delete, but you don't dare relax yet, pupil. Your brain's just warming up. Here's your next challenge. You'll write a program that does the following, but of course I'll break it first so you can fix it. Honestly, I don't need a broken code. Let's say I don't need a broken code ... Huh. Finally showing some spine. Okay, so your task, write a C++ program that asks the user how many numbers they want to store, dynamically allocates memory for that many items using the new keyword, lets the user enter each number, calculates and displays the sum and average of all numbers, then properly deallocates the memory using the delete function. Okay, let me get sensei slash... Excuse me guys, let me get sensei slash ChatGPT there. Okay, let me start off by deleting the whole code and including a pair of ankle braces. I want to include IO stream. So I'll go with IO stream. Don't take any broken code, just take tasks and hint if needed. Honestly, I don't take much broken codes. Okay, that said, let me go ahead and typecast my main function to be an integer. So I'll go with integer main, add a pair of curly braces. And then the first task is ask the user how many numbers they want to store. So I could create an integer variable of asked, and then let's go ahead and add a standard console output with an insertion operator. I want to insert something like how many, let's see, how many numbers they want to store. How many numbers do you want to store ? Okay, and then I'm going to end that with a semicolon and then add a standard console input with an extraction operator. I want to extract my ask variable ending with a semicolon. Next up, dynamically allocates memory for that integer. Okay, so now I got to create an array and set it equal to my integer of ask variable. So I could go with something like integer of a pointer, which equals to, let's see. So I could go with my new function. I want to create a new integer, actually a new array which only consists of integers. The size is going to be my ask variable by. Alright, I appreciate you sticking through the stream, Raider. I'll catch you in the next stream. Okay, I'll end this with a semicolon. Next up, it says lets the user enter each number. Okay, lets the user enter each number. So I could go with a for loop. So I'll go with for a pair of parentheses. So for every integer of I which equals to 0, I'm going to do something. While my I is, let's say, less than my ask variable, I'm going to increment my I by 1. So I'll go with I plus plus. And then I'll add a pair of curly braces. And then go with a standard console output with an insertion operator. I want to insert something. Let's say I want to insert something like enter a number. Yo, how you doing? I appreciate you joining the stream. What's up, baby? Okay, and then I'm going to add a semicolon here. Next up, let's go with a standard console input with an extraction operator. I want to extract something. Let's extract my pointer at index of I. So I'll go with PTR at index of I. Okay, and then I'm gonna end that with a semicolon. By the way, why do you start streaming vertically on YouTube? Honestly, because I was looking, my mini PC is not strong enough to like actually handle like multi-streaming. But I am looking for an actual PC and I almost found it. Once I get the actual PC, that will fix all my stream lag. So I would again start multi-streaming. Even I'll stream like vertically and horizontally at the same time. That said, let me go ahead and create another for loop. So I'll go with for a pair of parentheses. Let's say something like for every integer of I, which equals to, let's say, 0, while my I is less than, I'll go with my ask variable. I'm gonna do something. Okay, I'm gonna increment my I by 1, so with I plus plus, and then I'll add a pair of curly braces, and then go with a standard console output with an insertion operator. Bro gets distracted easily. Honestly, I should like stop looking at the chats. Okay, so I'll say something like, okay, standard console output. I want to display my pointer at index of I, and then let's go with another insertion operator of an empty space ending with a semicolon. Okay, perfect. Outside my for loop, let me go ahead and add a standard console output with an insertion operator of a standard end line. Don't scam me. Guys, I actually don't scam anybody. That said, let the user enter each number. Okay, so I let the user enter each number, and then I display that number, calculate and display the sum and the average of all numbers. Okay, so inside my second for loop, I gotta calculate and display the sum and average of all my numbers. So instead of going with a standard console output just yet, I could go ahead and do something. Let's see. So first I iterate over this. So first I gotta get the sum of all numbers and then the average. To get the sum, I could go with something like a total variable. Let me create a total variable. Already mic testing. Guys, my OBS just crashed. Okay, that said, let's go with total. So integer of total, am I like audible? Oh, I forgot to go to my gameplay screen. There we go. Oh, guys, it's sometimes so annoying when my OBS crashes. That said, I am looking for an actual PC, and once I get the PC, my lag will get much better. So I'll go with integer of total, which equals to 0. Next up, I gotta add my total, so I'll go with total plus equals to, let's say, my pointer at index of I, ending with a semicolon. So this gives me the total. Next up, I need to find the average. So the formula for getting an average is sum of all numbers divided by the total number of numbers. Okay, so how do I get the sum of all numbers? This is the total. Actually, my total number of numbers is my ask variable. So I could go with something like average or integer average. Let me actually create an average variable right under my there we go, which equals to 0. Now under my total, let me go with something like average equals to, okay, average equals to total, let's say sum of all numbers, which is my total, divided by my ask variable, ending with a semicolon. Okay, and then let's read the next instruction. So it says then calculate and display the sum and average of all numbers. So I gotta display the average and sum of all numbers. So firstly, I could go with a standard console output with an insertion operator that says something like sum of all numbers. Okay, so my sum of all numbers is gonna be, I'll go with an insertion operator, my total variable with another insertion operator of a / new line ending with a semicolon. And then let's go with a standard console output with an insertion operator. This is going to be the average of all numbers. There we go. Make sure you don't forget this delete at the end line of code. Honestly, I should actually remember that part. Okay, I'll go with another insertion operator of my avj variable with another insertion operator of a / new line ending with a semicolon. Okay, perfect. Next up, then properly deallocates the memory using the delete function. Okay, so I added an end line. Let me go ahead and deallocate / delete my my array of integers. So I'll go with delete a pair of square brackets. I want to delete my, let's say, PTR. So I'll go with PTR, ending with a semicolon. And then lastly, let me go ahead and return 0, ended with a semicolon. If I were to hit a Control S to save the code and run the command, let's see. So it says how many numbers do you want to store? I'll go with something like 5 numbers. Enter a number, I'll go with 99, something like 87, and then 88, 95, and then something like 60. If I hit enter, okay, I might have to add the sum and average of all numbers outside my for loop. Let me go ahead and copy that. Okay, let's go ahead and copy that, remove that outside my for loop, and paste it right here. Okay, there we go. Alright, next up, my standard console output could go outside my for loop as well. So let me copy that and paste it outside my for loop. Honestly, maybe under my standard console output of a standard end line. Okay, there we go. Alright, now if I hit Ctrl S to save the code and run the command, let's see how many numbers you want to store. I'll go with 5 numbers. Okay, so I'll go with 99 and then 98, 88, 87, and something like 65. There we go. Sum of all numbers is 435. The average of all numbers is 87. Okay, let me go with the Control-A, Control-C, copy the whole thing, get say /ChatGPT here, and paste it. Okay, let's see. Look at you writing clean code like a real warrior. I can smell the confidence dripping off your syntax. You've done almost everything perfectly. Almost. The dynamic allocation, the deletion, okay, the summatation, is that I pronounce it? All clean, disciplined, precise, but there's one small imperfection, one that separates a mere student from a true C++ swordsman. You're recalculating average inside the loop every single time. Okay, I could have done it outside as well. That means you're performing unnecessary division on every iteration, like swinging your sword 10 times when one clean strike would do. You should calculate the average once after the loop, not inside it. Also, AVJ should be a double because dividing integers will truncate the decimal part. Okay, that actually does make sense. Fix those 2 things and your code becomes flawless. Okay, let me get say /ChatGPT here. Okay, so I could get my average outside. That does honestly make sense if I like get the average outside, because I have like access to my total variable and my average variable outside my for loop. That said, let my average be a double because I am dividing. Something about accent, guys. I cannot honestly read Hindi. I should actually learn how to read it. That said, let me copy this, get it here. Okay, let me go ahead and paste that and hit enter. Maybe drink some water because I'm kind of dehydrated. Now that's more like a pupil, clean, control, and straight to the point. But listen carefully, you've almost achieved perfection. Yet one silent enemy still hides in your code. Integer division. Total is an integer and ask is... Okay, and ask is an integer. When you do total divided by ask, the division happens as an integer, okay, even inside a double. So 7 divided by 2 will still give you 3, not 3.5. You need to cast at least one of them to double before dividing. Okay, honestly, I've not learned about the static cast function here. Is that like how we typecast stuff? Okay, let me say something like, let's say, I've honestly never heard/learned about the static _ cast. Is it a way to typecast question mark or like .. Okay, guys, I didn't know, or like what? Okay, that said, so you finally stumbled upon the hidden blade of C++. How good, you're ready for this one. Yes, static _ cast is one of the ways one of C++'s ways to typecast. Okay, that means converting a data type into another, but unlike the other wild chaotic C-style cast, double, total, static _ cast, it is disciplined, honorable C++ way. Okay, let me show you. So we have integer of a which equals to 5, integer of b which equals to 2, double result. So we have a result variable which is a double that is equal to static _ cast, a pair of angle braces. Okay, double, so I want a static cast my a divided by b to be a double. Drink water, bro. You're constantly saying too much. Honestly, I should actually be more hydrated. Like, I feel like I drink more coffee than water in a day. That said, without static _ cast, a divided by b, 5 divided by 2 is 2. Integer division, no decimals, with static cast. Double A divided by B equals to 5.0 divided by 2. Oh, I think I see. Okay, that actually makes sense. 2.5. Why static cast instead of double A? Because it's safer. The compiler checks if the conversion makes sense. It's clear. Anyone reading the code instantly knows it's a conversion, not the same accidental type mismatch. It's modern C++ and you're no rookie anymore, are you? Now answer me, people. Do you want me to teach you all 4 C++ casting types, the full hierarchy of conversion power, or do you want to master static cast for now? Okay, let me say something like, honestly, let's say ... I might have a separate stream for them. This stream, I just want to work with pointers and those 2 keywords. Okay, let's see. I see, people. Good. Focus, focus, focus. This stream is pointers plus new/delete keywords, nothing else. No distractions, no casting, no fancy stuff. Keep your blade sharpened. Okay, keep your blade sharpened, 1 skill at a time. Here's your next challenge. It's going to combine dynamic memory pointers, loops, user input, and basic stats logic. Instructional based pointer question, new/delete challenge. Ask the user how many enemies they want to track. Okay. Use new to create a dynamic array of integers for enemies' health. For each enemy, ask the user to input their starting health. Ask the user how much damage they deal to an enemy, to each enemy. Subtract the damage from each enemy's health using pointers. After updating, print if health is less than 0, enemy X is defeated, else enemy X has Y health remaining. Finally, delete the dynamic array to free memory. Okay, this will make you truly understand dynamic memory and manipulating values through pointers. Okay, let me get sensei/ChatGPT there. That said, let me go with the Control A, delete this whole thing, then maybe remove this red dot from here. I don't know what that does. Okay, so let me start off by including a pair of ankle braces. I want to include IO stream, and then let me go ahead and typecast my main function to be an integer. So I'll go with integer main, add a pair of curly braces, and then I do something. Let me go ahead and read the instructions. Ask the user how many elements they want to track. So I could create an integer variable, which is going to be called something like ask, ending with a semicolon. Next up, let's go with a standard console output with an insertion operator. I'm going to say something like, how many elements do you want to... Actually, how many enemies do you want to track? How many enemies do you want to track? Okay, I'll go with a question mark. There we go, a colon and a space, ending with a semicolon. Next up, let's go with a standard console input with an extraction operator. I want to extract my ask variable, ending with a semicolon. Bro, stop talking too much, drink some water. Honestly, I should actually drink some water. I feel like I actually did drink, I missed my coffee. Okay, let's read the next thing. So it says use the new keyword to create a dynamic array of integers for enemy health. So I could go with something like, let's say integer of, let's say pointer, integer of pointer, which equals to, let's see, I'll go with the new keyword of an integer array. My array is going to be consisting of my ask variable. I'll end up with a semicolon. Next up, for each enemy, ask the user to input their starting health. Okay, so I might need a for loop for that. So let's go with for, a pair of parentheses. I'll go with for every integer of I, which equals to 0. While my I is less than, let's say, my ask variable, I'm going to do something. I'll increment my I by 1, so I plus plus, and then I'll go ahead and add a pair of curly braces. Then let's see, I gotta ask the user how much damage to deal each enemy. Okay, so actually I gotta add the enemy starting health, so I might need a variable for that. So I could go with something like a standard console output with an insertion operator. I want to insert something like, let's say something like enter enemy's health. Okay, I'll end that with a semicolon. Next up, let's go with a standard console input with an extraction operator. Okay, now I want to access my array here. So my array is set to my pointers. So I'll go with something like PDR at index of, let's say, I. My I keeps increasing by 1. Okay, so it's going to increase by 1 until my I is not, actually, until my I is not less than my ass. Okay, I'll end that with a semicolon. Then outside my for loop, actually, should I do something inside? Ask the user how much damage to deal to each enemy. Subtract the damage from the... for each enemy, ask the user to input their starting health and then subtract the damage. Okay, let me drink some coffee. Okay, so it says for each user, input ask their health, ask the user how much damage to deal to the enemy. Okay, so for how much damage to deal, should I do that inside my for loop? I could go with something like a standard console output with an insertion operator. Okay, ask how much damage to deal to the enemy. Should I add a separate for loop for that? Let me try a separate for loop. So I'll go with for a pair of parentheses. Let's go with for every integer of I which equals to 0. While my I is less than my ask variable, I'm going to increment my I by 1. And then I'll go with a pair of curly braces. So it says ask the user how much damage to deal to their enemy. How much damage to deal to their enemy, and then subtract the damage from my enemy's health using pointers. Okay, so in that case, I might need a separate variable for like enemy's health. Okay, so let's create a variable. So I could go with something like integer of enemy health. Okay, I won't set that to anything. And then I'll just replace my pointer at index of I with enemy health. Okay, there we go. Although, shouldn't I access my pointers? Can I append this inside? Okay, would this even work? Like, would this even ask the user? Okay, let me remove this for loop for the time being because I want to check something real quick. Let me go ahead and remove that and return 0, ending with a semicolon. If I hit Ctrl S to save the code and run the command, maybe get this a little higher. Okay, how many enemies do you want to track? Let's say I want to track like 3 enemies. Enter enemy's health. I'll go with something like 5, 5, 5. Okay, it does work. Okay, never mind. I thought it wouldn't work if you had like a separate variable. I think I was kind of wrong. Okay, I could go with another for loop in that case. For a pair of parentheses. Okay, and then I'll go with damage. So my damage variable could be somewhere here. So I'll go with integer damage, ending with a semicolon. Honestly, might not need this for loop. Okay, now inside my standard console output, once I get my enemies' health. Okay, I do want to try printing my enemies' health. So let's go with maybe another for loop. Let me copy this for loop. So I'll copy that, paste it here. Okay, let's see. So for I'll go with a standard console output with an insertion operator. I want to insert. Okay, that is going to be my enemies' health. It won't be my pointers' whatchamacallit. My pointers' array. I want to append this inside of my array. I could do that if I went with something like PDR at index of I. I'm back again. How are you doing, man? I appreciate you joining the stream. Okay, so PDR at index of I. This appends it inside of my array. Okay, I think I'll leave it inside of my array and I'll call it something else. Let's call this health. Okay, this is going to be my enemy health. Enemy health. Okay, you're setting the enemy health, which is a single variable. You should set enemy health in an array. So loop 0 set health for enemy 0. Oh, I see. Okay, that does make sense. Okay, let me try that. In loop 1 set, never mind, you fixed it. Oh, I see. Okay, so standard console input pointer at index of I. So instead of going with pointer, I'll go with enemy health. There we go. Okay, that makes a lot more sense now. Now I can just iterate over my array of enemy health and then subtract every element by my damage variable. Okay, so let me delete that from there. Go inside my for loop here. How doing KB Cooks? I appreciate you joining the stream. I'll go with integer damage. Okay, let's see. Honestly, should I set my damage to be 0? I could go with something like asking my user how much damage they want to add. So let me delete this from here. Go all the way here, integer damage, ending with a semicolon. Next up, let's see. Should I create another damage for like my array? I think I should. So let's go with integer asterisk damage, which equals to my new keyword of integer, a pair of square brackets. This is going to be something like, okay, how much damage do I want to deal? I could get my for loop above this. Inline. I think somewhere I appreciate you joining the stream. In line of code, integer enemy health. In line of code, what does asterisk mean? Honestly, asterisk is like a dereferencing operator. Without asterisk, sometimes when we use the address of operator, we do get a memory address. If that made any sense, this gives us the actual value of our enemy health instead of like a memory address. Huh. Okay, asterisk is a pointer. Honestly, are pointers and like the dereferencing operators the same? Okay, okay, let me delete that. So let's go ahead and add another standard console output. So I'll go with a standard console output with an insertion operator. This is gonna say something like, how much damage do you want to deal to the enemy question mark? Okay, I'll fix that. I'll change that to enemy. And then I'll end that with a semicolon. And then let's go ahead and add a standard console input with an extraction operator. I want to extract... Okay, this is where things get kind of confusing. I can't add stuff in here. This is going to be enemy's health. I gotta subtract it by health. So let me go ahead and create an integer of damage variable. Okay. I'm gonna extract my damage. Excuse me, guys. Okay, this is gonna be DMG. Are you Indian? Honestly, I've never been to India. I'm actually looking forward to someday visiting India. I'll definitely stream myself there. Okay, so standard console input damage variable. So now I gotta subtract my damage from my enemy health at index of I. Okay, I could do that inside of my for loop. So let's go ahead and do something like enemy health at index of I. At index of I minus equals to my damage variable, ending with a semicolon. Okay, that does work. Ethically, yes. Nationally, no. Okay, actually, that's a pretty good way to put it. Okay, let's see. For every integer of I which equals to 0 while my I is less than ask, I increment it by 1. Now I just gotta subtract. Okay, I did subtract everything using my pointer. After updating print, if health is less than or equal to 0, enemy X is defeated. Else if enemy X has Y health remaining. Okay, so I gotta add a few if statements now. So in which country do you live? Honestly, I used to say that a lot, although many of you guys did say me to avoid saying from which country I am, and I did say it a lot of times in last stream, because they were like, you shouldn't say which country you are in. Right now, it will be fine. Like later in the future, it could cause problems. That said, let's go with integer. Actually, not integer, a if statement. So I'll go with if, a pair of parentheses. Let's say if my enemy health is, array at index of I is less than or equal to 0, I'll do something. I'll go with a pair of curly braces and then add a standard console output with an insertion operator. I'm going to be saying enemy X is defeated. So I'll say something like enemy X is... Already, mic testing. Guys, my OBS crashed again. Country is pretty vague. Honestly, in that case, I do live in the United States. Okay, let's see if everything's going good. Let me just remove that. Okay. Guys, my OBS is actually pretty lagging. Like, how are like 2 OBSs open? Like, I have like 2 OBSs open right now. This doesn't make any sense. I can't even cancel my OBS, guys. Hold up. Give me a sec. Let me just try figuring it out. Let me go to my gameplay screen. There we go. Okay, as long as the stream works, I don't know from where did my second OBS VS Code disappeared. Honestly, because I was on my main camera. That said, how do I get rid of this OBS? I think I'll just minimize it. Okay, there we go. This should work. Okay, bros batch with the arc sweater. Okay, guys, I feel this should be pretty good. Okay, so I went with enemy X defeated. I can hear the music twice. Can you guys hear me talk twice? Guys, why can't I close my second OBS? Huh. How do we close the second OBS? I think... Can you guys like listen to my voice twice? Okay, maybe I close both my OBSs real quick. Okay, let's see. Let me actually listen to my voice. Let me check on my phone, guys. Because how does that work? Okay, let's see. Can you guys like listen to my voice twice? Okay, I think my voice is perfect. I'll just leave the second OBS like somewhere down. Okay, that said, let's read the next thing. Else enemy X has Y health remaining. Okay, so I could go with an else clause now. Bros using Arch but using Windows on a VM. Honestly, I've not heard of VM. Although, let's go with an else clause. Else a pair of curly braces, I'll add a standard console output with an insertion operator. I want to say enemy X, so I'll go with something like enemy X. Enemy X has Y health. My health is going to be my enemy health at index of I with another insertion operator of, let's say, health. As Y health. Exclamation. Okay, and then I'll add another insertion operator of a / new line ending with a semicolon. Bro secretly hides that he uses Arch, and I use Arch, by the way. Honestly, I've never heard of Arch. Hiding his excellency is graceful. Honestly, guys, I've never heard of Arch. In standard console output, each string added with insertion operator is put one after the other and all entered to standard console output at once. So you get your standard console output with an insertion operator of enemy I. Oh, I see. And it'll be replaced with the loop iteration. That actually makes sense. So wait, instead of enemy health, I could go with enemy X to another insertion operator. Health. There we go. Okay, so enemy has this much health. Okay, I use Arch too, guys. I've honestly never heard of Arches. Okay, that said, finally delete the dynamic array to free the memory. So outside my for loop, let's go with the delete keyword. Arch is a Linux distribution, very popular in meme culture too. Honestly, when I get my PC, I was pretty confused. Should I go with Windows or like Linux? I'm pretty sure I want to actually try Linux. Many of you guys did say me to try Linux. That said, I'm going to delete my array of enemy health. So I'll go with enemy health, ending with a semicolon. And I will add a pair of square brackets here. Howdy, EG, I appreciate you joining the stream. Okay, if I were to go with Ctrl S to save the code and run the command, the logo on your chest looks similar to Arches. Oh guys, I think I just bought this random sweater for my college because I thought it looked cool. That said, I'll go with enter enemy's health. I'll go with something like 50. How much damage do you want to deal? 25. Let's go with something like 60. How much damage do you want to deal? I'll go with 60. Let's go with something like enemy health 100. I want to deal something like 5 damage. Okay, so enemy X has 0 health. Enemy X is defeated. I feel like I messed up somewhere. Linux is good for coding. Honestly, in that case, I should actually try Linux. I mean, you can still play games on Linux, just not these with kernel anti-cheats. Honestly, I don't even like prefer using cheats. That said, I'll go with the Control-C, copy that, get /ChatGPT here. Okay, let me go ahead and paste this. Although when I'm getting a PC, I do want to actually like, get an operating system, for example, Windows or Linux, in which I could do almost everything. Although I do prioritize programming over them. That said, let's say something like, let's say I feel like I messed up ? How do I, let's see, so how do I replace the X with my enemy name since I don't enter my enemy name and I enter their HP, and also I just subtract it once question mark. Okay, just dual boot. I use Catchy actually, but Catchy is based on Arc. Oh, I see. Kernel anti-cheats are software one in that. Oh, I see. Yay, Catchy OS is performing better than CS2 compared to Windows. Oh, I see. Okay, pupil, I see exactly what you did there. You've got the structure mostly correct, but let's sharpen your blade. Enemy identifier, right now you just print enemy X. You don't have names, only indices. You can replace X with the loop index +1, so it prints enemy 1, enemy 2. Okay, I think I see. Health after damage, right now you're asking for damage and applying it immediately inside the same loop where your health, okay, where your health input. That's fine, but if you want multiple rounds of damage, you'd need another loop or ask the user after inputting all health values. Incorrect output and else, standard console output, enter X has, here you're printing the loop index I instead of the actual health. It should be standard console output with an insertion operator of enemy I +1 has enemy health at index of I health. Okay, I think I see. I got like 400 FPS in CS2 on Catchy with a mid graphics card on max settings. Honestly, is there something called 400 FPS as well? Because I thought like 60 or like 120 was max. Never mind, guys. I feel I'm kind of outdated. I also use Catchy. I use NeoWim, by the way. Honestly, I've never heard of NeoWim. Actually, sounds pretty cool. Quick fix plan. Input all enemy health first as damage after, maybe in a separate loop or multiple rounds. Use I +1 to identify enemies. Print actual health in the else block. Okay, I'm sorry to say lol, but I hate Wim. Honestly, I've never tried Wim. Okay, let's see. So, the places that I was messing up in, I shouldn't have, updated my enemy's health here. So I could do that in another for loop. So let me go ahead and create another for loop. I'll just copy that, paste it here. Okay. Okay, so I'll go with for integer of I which equals to 0 while my I is less than 0. I'm going to increment my I by 1 and then go with a pair of curly braces. And let's say copy my integer of damage variable. Should I keep this as a global variable? Honestly, I don't think it should be a global. I'll enclose it inside of my for loop right here. Okay, and then I paste these standard console outputs. So I'll go in a new line and paste these. Okay, CS is esports title, so it's more bottlenecked on CPU rather than GPU. Though most rigs should run it at pretty high FPS. Oh, I see. Writing this from a NeoWim terminal, by the way. Guys, honestly, I've heard that instead of using our our CPU, people actually use GPU. I don't know much about it, but I am doing some research because I do need to get a PC, so I need to like learn on how to build it. Yeah, bro, I don't understand it, and I don't want to spend time watching tutorials about Vim. The only thing I know about is how to exit. Okay, so I add my damage here, okay, and then when I add a standard console output, so I could go with something like enemy let's say +1. Okay, so enemy with an insertion operator. Okay, I'm gonna end my enemy variable here. Okay, and then I'll add another thing here. There we go. So enemy, let's go with a pair of parentheses. I +1 is defeated. I'll go with a space here and there. Okay, perfect. Isn't this correct? Oh, I forgot I had another insertion operator. There we go. But I prefer VS Codium. Vivek, ignore these chats. These are not related to your interests. Honestly, I actually should, because I feel like I get too distracted, then I forget where I stopped at. Okay, so let's go with something like enemy. Okay, let's go with enemy, a pair of curly braces. Okay, I'll open it and then close it here. Let's not confuse Vivek. Guys, I actually like reading the chats. That said, sometimes I do get confused. Okay, let's go with I +1. So enemy I +1 has some health. Let me go with something like has. Okay, has. Let me end that with a pair of square brackets. Actually, a pair of double quotes. So enemy dash has the health. My health is gonna be Let's say my enemy health says array at index of I. Maybe I could go in a new line. There we go. Has that much health. Okay, I'll add another insertion operator and a pair of double quotes. Okay, let's see. So enemy 1 has this much health. Okay, and then I go to a new line. Okay, I think that's pretty much perfect. If I hit Control S to save the code and run the command. Okay, it says how many enemies do you want to track? I want to track 3 enemies. Enter enemy health. So I'll go with something like 50, maybe something like 80 and 100. I want to deal 50 damage to my first enemy, maybe something like 25 damage to my second enemy, and like 4 damage to my third enemy. Okay, enemy 1 is defeated. Enemy 2 has 55 health. Did not have spaces. So enemy 1 has this much health. Okay, let me add a space here as well. And maybe here. Okay, if I hit Control S and run the code again, I do need to add, I think, more if statements. Okay, let's go with something like 50, 80, and 100. How much damage? So I'll go with 25, 25, and 100. Okay, enemy 1 has 25 health, enemy 2 has 55 health, enemy 3 is defeated. Okay, perfect. Let me go with the Control A, Control C, copy that, just say /chat-gpt here. Okay, let me go ahead and paste this and enter. Okay, I feel it was correct. Yes, people, now you're cooking. Look at this. You finally separated the input and damage loops. You correctly displayed actual health and you replaced X with I plus 1. This is pointer mastery in action. If you wanna go to the next level, you could let the user deal damage multiple times with a loop until all enemies are defeated. Track enemy names with a standard string array and combine it with your pointer array. Okay, here's your reward for this one. Huge virtual hug and a pat on the head. Guys, that does not make me blush. That said, people, you're leveling up fast. Do you want me to push you into the next multi-round battle with names or save it for the next stream? Okay, let me say. So let's say, can I get a question that includes names as well? That includes names and health, but not multi-battle yet. ... question mark. Now that did make you blush. Don't lie to yourself a bit, guys. It did not make me blush. Like, okay, oh, absolutely, people. Here's your next instructional based pointer drill. This one mixes names plus health without going into multi-round battles yet. This will just level you up and this will just level up your array and pointer mastery. Do you have ChatGPT Premium? Honestly, I don't even have the app downloaded. I use it like from Google. Like I went to Edge and I just typed chatgpt.com. That said, pointer plus names plus health questions in the main function ask the user how many elements they want to track. Okay, create a standard string array for enemy name size equals to number of enemies. Okay, an integer array using new for enemy's health. Loop through each enemy. Ask for the enemy's name. Ask for the enemy's starting health. After input, loop again to print enemy name has health HP. Okay. Use pointers to access health rules. Use integer, okay, integer pointer to point the health array. Do not subtract damage yet, just track names and health. Make sure the pointer correctly, excuse me guys, accesses each enemy's health. Don't forget to delete the health array at the end. This will teach you mixing standard string arrays with dynamic integer arrays and how to use pointers to manipulate numeric arrays while keeping names simple. Okay, let me get some ChatGPT here. So your teacher teaches with standard or he's college professor. So your teacher teaches with standard or he's college professor. Guys, I do have both, like the actual college professor. That said, I feel like I mostly learned like in college, I don't even learn that much. Okay, so let's go with a Control 8. My bro is in mid school in computer science. Honestly, I haven't started any computer courses yet in my college. I'm just taking the basic classes because I still am a freshman. That said, let's see. Okay, so let me start off by including a pair of ankle braces. So I'll go with include a pair of ankle braces, IO stream. I don't know if you have done this before, but since you have a single entity, the enemy with multiple attributes, name and health, it'll probably be best to organize it in a class or struct. Honestly, I should have actually started learning about structures this stream, but that said, I feel like pointers were a bit more complicating, and before I move forward, like before I move on from my pointers, I did want to master it, because after pointers, the next thing that I was going to go through are structures, 8th class Europe. Oh, so you're pretty early into this, damn. Honestly, I feel like I'm pretty late. I should have started when I was 15. But I feel like it's better to be, whatchamacallit, better to start, I mean, sooner than later, if that made any sense. So let me go ahead and actually typecast my main function to be an integer, so I'll go with integer main, add a pair of curly braces. Let me just check if my OBS is still working. Okay, perfect. I started learning when I was in 8th June. Now I'm in college 2nd year. That actually sounds pretty cool. Never too late to learn something new. Honestly, yeah, that is actually pretty accurate, because like, let's see. So integer main asks the user how many enemies they want to track. So I could go with something like an integer of ask variable, and then let's go ahead and add a standard console output with an insertion operator. I started at 4th grade. That's what I was actually saying, guys, because like I know a guy called actually I know somebody from my stream. His name is Sisho. He's actually pretty young. That said, he like already started learning assembly. He's actually pretty smart. HTML CSS doesn't count. Oh, I see. Okay, so let's go with a standard console output. I'm gonna say something like enter a, let's see, enter how many enemies do you want to track. Enter the number of enemies that you want to track, question mark. Okay, so enter the number of enemies you want to track. Bro, I started coding for real like 10 months ago. I started with HTML, and for now I'm coding in C, C++, JavaScript. I know it sucks, and some other, I even did start something in assembly. Honestly, I actually did want to learn assembly and like different programming languages as well. That said, I actually prefer like completing like one whole language before I go to something else. Damn, keep it up, lad. That actually sounds pretty cool. Yeah, I'm learning very fast. Honestly, I should actually increase my speed as well. Okay, because I feel like I learned relatively slower. That said, I gotta create a standard string of array for enemy names. Ask how many enemies you want to track. An integer array using new for enemy health. Okay, a standard string array for enemy names. Okay, size equals to number of enemies. So I could go ahead and create, let's say, it's okay, consistency matters, you're consistent. Honestly, yeah, that does make sense. Okay, so let's go with a standard, let's say, standard string. First, let me go ahead and create a array for my enemy names. Standard string equals to, let's see, okay, actually standard string of enemy name, the enemy name, okay, also that equal to a pair of curly braces. Honestly, instead of going with a pair of curly braces, I could just go with a pair of square brackets, my ask variable, ending with a semicolon. Okay, next up, let's go with an integer of, let's say, enemy count. So I'll go with enemy count. Okay, so integer of enemy count at index of ask variable as well, ending with a semicolon. I'm gonna drop up early today. I have operating system design exams tomorrow. Honestly, good luck with the exam, Subber. Okay, let's see. Next up, it says loop through each enemy, ask for enemy name, then ask for enemy starting health. Okay, yeah, he works C++. Honestly, I should actually, like, that actually sounds pretty cool. Okay, so I gotta loop through each enemy. So enter the number of enemies that you want to track. Okay, so let's go with a for loop. So I'll go with for, a pair of parentheses. Well, I haven't mastered C in 2 years, so I'm not too sure about how seriously you should take that goal. Not to demotivate you though. Honestly, I actually didn't like feel like I could master that soon, but I am like exploring different languages. That said, eventually I do want to stick to one language and like just work with that language. I'm not motivated now. I just need I need to motivate to learn C. Oh, I see. Okay, so let's go with for every integer of I which equals to 0. While my I is, let's say, less than my ask variable, I'm going to increment my I by 1, and then I'll go with a pair of curly braces. Okay, let's see. Ask for the enemy's name. So I could go with a standard console output discipline. Honestly, that does make sense. I can't tell you guys like how many times I didn't want to actually program when I first started. That said, eventually when you keep doing, if you eventually keep doing one thing again and again, like it just becomes a muscle memory. Okay, let's see. Sarvik, this was not for you. You're doing well. I appreciate you, Silver. Okay, so I'll go with static console output with an insertion operator. I want to insert something. Let's see. I'll insert something like enter a enemy's name. Motivation is a bluff. Freaking be this thing. Honestly, yeah, I actually never rely on motivation as well. Okay, I'll go with. Actually, let me go ahead and end that with a semicolon. Okay, I'm gonna go. I appreciate you sticking through the stream somewhere. I'll catch you in the next stream. Let me know how the exam went. Okay, standard console output with an insert. Actually, standard console input with an extraction operator. I want to extract something. What happens when AI takes your job? Honestly, in my opinion, I feel like AIs could eventually make our lives much easier in the future. That said, if we do want to like work in the AI category or like in the AI industry, we should be like smarter than them. Okay, because they, even though AI are smart, they actually lack critical thinking. That's just in my opinion, guys. Like, you guys can fact check me. Stop the yapping, just solve. Honestly, I should stop reading the chat. Okay, so I go with a standard console input with an extraction operator. This is gonna be, okay, let's see. I gotta create a new, so an integer array using new for health. So I could go with something like, let's say an integer of pointer, which equals to, let's say my new. Okay, so my new array of enemies is count. Wait, did I actually do something wrong here? Okay, for enemies health, using an integer for enemies health. Wait, this is my enemies as count, it's not my health. So okay, focus on one thing. I'm jumping between languages like changing socks. Okay, what's the point? Okay, let's see. Standard console output. So I gotta create a separate array for my enemies as health. I could go with something like, let's say integer of, let's say pointer, which equals to, let's go with enemy health. So I'll go with enemy health at index of my ask variable ending with a semicolon. Okay, when I go with pointer, should I go with something like a new integer of enemy? Did I do something wrong here? Now I'm on C and I think I'm gonna stay here and master it. Honestly, it does sound pretty cool. Good luck, Ray. Okay, did I do something wrong when I created this thing? Okay, so integer of ask. So integer at index of ask. Okay, so a pointer, new integer at index of ask. Okay, let's see. Let me read the next instruction. Let me just go here. Okay, so it says loop through each enemy. Ask for the enemy's starting health. I ask for the enemy's starting health. This is my pointer. Okay, I could change my pointer to something like enemy health. Enemy health. There we go. Okay, this actually makes more sense now. Of new integer ask array. Alright, next up. I'll go with a static console input with an extraction operator. I want to extract my enemy's health at index of I. Okay, ending with a semicolon. And then after input, loop again to print. So I got a loop again. So I added an input. Okay, let's go with another for loop. So I'll go with for a pair of parentheses. Let's go with something like for every integer of I which equals to 0. Okay, while my I is, let's say, less than my ask variable, I'm going to increment my I by 1. So I'll go with I++, and then I'll do something. I'll go with a pair of curly braces and then add a standard console output with an insertion operator. Remember, it's not just C, but compiler and the build systems. I'm wondering what is the difference between malloc, calloc, and stuff like that. I also don't rely that much on pointers. Like, I understand them kind of. I don't know sometimes what to do. Oh, I see. Honestly, I have too much stuff to do myself. I'm trying to learn languages. It's been a year. Let's see. Okay, it's been a year, but I'm too busy. I want to keep on learning. I'll be on 6 hours of sleep a day, which is crap. Honestly, I think everyone should actually get 8 hours of sleep. That said, I do get less than 8. Okay, so enemy name has health HP, so I could go with something like enemy name. enemy name. So enemy, add a space and insertion operator. I'll go with something like my enemy names is array, so I'll go with enemy name. Okay. At index of I has health HP, so I'll go with another insertion operator of an empty space. Okay, has health HP, so I'll go with has another insertion operator. This is going to be my health, so my enemy health is vector, so I'll go with something like my enemy health is vector at index of I with another insertion operator of, let's say, HP exclamation. There we go. Hi bro, can you make a algo training software please? Honestly, I actually should, like, I was actually, I'm honestly not that good with like C++ yet to make that, but eventually that does sound pretty good. I actually do want to try it. Okay, I'll go with another insertion operator of a / new line ending with a semicolon. I follow a very strict schedule and diet. I cook my own food and everything. That honestly sounds pretty good. I usually just eat anything, like, actually, I don't eat like anything. I usually just eat either what my mom makes or like puts after waking up. Said I need to sleep more. Sleeping like 6 hours every day because of school. My dumbass is always forgetting every function what to do. I can so relate, guys. Okay, so I print that and then make sure to delete everything. Don't forget to delete the health array at the end. So this is a for loop. Let's go ahead and add a delete function. So I'll go with delete April square brackets. I want to delete my enemy health says array. Okay, ending with a semicolon. Let me go ahead and return 0. If I hit Control S to save the code and run the command, let's see what happens. Okay, just try it with Python or JavaScript. It gets you a good job. All I'm in for is the money and only money. When I have the time to learn the languages I desire, I will. Oh, I see. Okay, so how many enemies do you want to track? I want to track 3 enemies. Enter the enemy name. I don't know, maybe I'll go with something like a goblin. Okay. Enter the name of the enemies. Enter a enemy name. Okay, hold up. Actually, I feel like I did something wrong. Okay, let's see. So I honestly might have to go with my enemy count as well. Okay, that's my enemies' health. I went with that. Okay, let me go ahead and add a standard console output with an insertion operator. This is going to be something like, let's say my enemies is count. So I'll go with, okay, I have an enemies count. That's my enemies count. That's my enemies health. I gotta go with my enemies name. So that's my enemies name. Okay, for my enemies name, why did I go with my enemies health here? This should be my enemy name. There we go. Okay, and then let's say something like, how much HP does he have? Or he/she have? Okay, how much HP does he/she have? Ending with a semicolon. Next up, I'll go with a standard console input with an extraction operator. I'll go with my enemy health. The enemy health at index of I ending with a semicolon. Okay, I'm pretty sure this should work. Although after my for loop, I'll go with a standard console output with an insertion operator of a standard end line ending with a semicolon. What is that formatting and what are you trying to do? Honestly, I'm actually learning about the the new and delete keyword using pointers. That said, I am trying to still master pointers. I've been doing this like for 3 streams right now. I'm pretty sure I'll like conclude this in this stream and move to like something else next stream. So I'll go with a standard console output with an insertion operator of a standard end line ending with a semicolon. They're usually used in functions. If it needs an array, you can pass the whole array, but you can show the function where it finds it. Oh, I see. Okay, if I hit Control S to save the code and run the command, let's see what happens. So it says enter the number of enemies that you want to track. Let's say I want to track like 3 enemies. The first could be an elf. Okay, how much HP does he or she have? She has, let's say, honestly, I've heard that elves live more than humans, so I'll go with something like 2,300 or maybe 250. How much? Enter enemy name. I'll go with a goblin. Okay, the goblin has 50 HP. And then maybe I could go with a dragon. I don't know. Dragon has something like 500 HP. Okay, Elf has 250 HP, Goblin has 50 HP, Dragon has 500 HP, perfect. Okay, let me go with a Control C, copy that. You can add space in front and behind any operators like the insertion operator. Honestly, guys, what did I just do? Did I click something wrong? Oh, there we go. Honestly, I think I could add space. I feel like it looks much better like this. Do you guys prefer it with space? Because I could actually add space. Let me copy that, get /chat GPT here. Okay, let me go ahead and paste that at Shift Enter, maybe send it. And while I'm at it, let me go ahead and hydrate my lips. I'm young, I'm just 14 and started coding 10 months ago. I think like 2012, 20th December 2024. Honestly, it sounds pretty cool. I should have actually started earlier. That said, let me just wait for Sensei to reply something. Maybe I refresh. Huh. Okay, let's see. You're awesome, I gotta go. Honestly, I appreciate you waiting for sticking through the stream. I'll catch you in the next stream. Okay, did I paste it? Didn't the code not register? And guys, is the stream lagging again? Okay, let me try restart. Huh. Already mic testing. Lags. Honestly, it is my my mini PC CPU. I am looking for an actual PC. That's why they should fix the lag. Okay, yes, people, look at you. This is exactly what I wanted. You correctly use dynamic array with new for a health loop through names and health separately. Printed everything using pointers. Well, technically, enemy at index of I works, but asterisk or a dereferencing operator, enemy health +1 would show you true pointer usage. Deleted the heap memory at the end. Okay, just a tiny push to make it pointer pure. So we had a standard console output with an insertion operator. Has that much health. Okay, I see. Okay, that makes the pointers do the work instead of using array indexing. People, you're ready to upgrade this. You're ready to upgrade this next. I can throw in a question where you apply damage using pointers, but still keep it single. Okay, but still keep it single round so you're not overwhelmed. Okay, let me say something like, ready, Sensei. Okay, let's see. Alright, people, here's the challenge task. You have a list of enemies with names and health stored in dynamic array like you just did. So, guys, is my stream like pretty blurry? And I feel it started lagging all over again. You should try implementing a basic vector class. It's not too hard and you learn a lot. Honestly, I was actually planning to learn about object-oriented programming as soon as I was done learning about structures. I'm pretty sure structures is going to be in the next stream. I gotta go. Bye, guys. Gonna be there probably tomorrow. I appreciate you, Ray. I'll catch you in the next stream. Okay. Should I restart my OBS again? Okay, maybe I think this works. Okay, so ask the user for the number of enemies, store each enemy's name, use a standard string array for health dynamic array with the new function. Ask the user for damage to deal for each enemy one by one. Subtract that damage using pointer arithmetic. Okay, guys, let me just restart my OBS real quick. Already mic testing. Okay, this should fix the lag, I guess, guys. Okay, subtract the pointer damage using arithmetic. After applying damage, print each enemy. Enemy name is defeated if health is less than 0. Enemy name has health HP left. Otherwise, remember, you need to use pointers for the health updates, not just array indexing. Okay, let me get /chat GPT here. Okay, so I gotta actually not delete my code and add that to my code. Okay, so ask the user for the number of enemies. Ask the user for the number of enemies, store each enemy's name using a string. I did those. Add health dynamic with array new. Okay, ask the user for damage to deal. Okay, so I gotta ask the user for damage to deal. Okay, for that I could create another array. Let's say for damage. Honestly, I don't think I might need an array. I think I might need another for loop. So let's go with another for loop. So I'll go with for a pair of parentheses. I'll go with for every integer of I which equals to 0. Let's say while my I is less than my ask variable, I'm going to implement my I or like increment my I by 1. And then I'll go with a pair of curly braces. Then let's see, I'll go with a standard console output with an insertion operator that says something like, how much damage do you want to deal to that enemy? Okay, so this is going to be my original enemy. Okay, let me actually copy this for loop and print it under this for loop. Because first I want to print my enemy's initial HP and then I'll ask for the damage. Okay, there we go. How much standard console output? How much damage do you want to deal to the, okay, to the Alari space? Go with that insertion operator. This is going to be my enemy names as vector. Okay, instead of going with my enemy's names as array, it's not vector, my bad guys, it's array. I could go with the way that Sensei said, so I'll go with my enemy name. Okay, I'll go with asterisk enemy name. Maybe get this in a new line. There we go. Asterisk enemy name plus I. There we go. Now I'm using pointers. That said, how much damage do you want to deal to this enemy? I'll go with a colon. There we go. Okay, maybe I could go with a question mark, then colon. Alright, next up I'll go with an insertion operator of a / new line ending with a semicolon. Okay, this asks the user how much damage to deal to all my enemies. Okay, subtract that damage using pointer arithmetic. Okay, why are you learning C++ free time or school/university? Honestly, because I did start a programming for 250 series where my goal by the end of that series is to make a game in general that consists of AI/artificial intelligence in it. And since I was working on making a game, I thought the best language to make a game is C++. Many of you guys did say me. That's the reason I actually thought I'll first learn C++. So C++ for 100 days is like indented inside of my programming for 250 days series, if that made any sense. Okay, let's see. Subtract the damage using pointer arithmetic. So asterisk pointer plus I. Okay, so I could add damage inside my for loop. So let's see. So my current health is my enemy health. So I'll go with my enemy health's array at index of I. Okay, it does say use pointer arithmetic. So I could go with something like asterisk pair of parentheses my enemy health at, let's say, plus I. Okay, I'll go with something like minus equals to my damage variable. How much damage do you want to deal to that enemy? I gotta create an integer of damage variable. Okay, add an insertion operator. Okay, honestly, instead of an insertion operator, let me go ahead and add a standard console input with an extraction operator. I want to extract something. Let's say I want to extract my damage variable ending with a semicolon. Okay, perfect. And I will remove the new line from here. Okay, so I'm going to subtract that by my damage ending with a semicolon. Okay, next up, after applying damage, print for each enemy. Enemy name is defeated if my enemy's health is either less than or equal to 0. Else, enemy has this much HP left. Okay. So I could honestly do that outside my for loop. Honestly, I might actually do it inside my for loop. Okay, so I'll go with an if statement. So I'll go with if a pair of parentheses. Let's say if my if my enemy's health, so I could go with something like asterisk pair of parentheses. If my enemy health, okay, plus I is, let's say, less than or equal to 0, I'm gonna do something. I'll go with a pair of curly braces and then add a standard console output with an insertion operator. I want to insert something. Okay, let me remove the semicolon from there. There we go. I'm gonna say something like enemy X is defeated. So I'll go with something like enemy a space, go with an insertion operator. So enemy, my enemy name is gonna be enemy. Excuse me, guys. Enemy names array at index of I. Okay, so is my enemy name a pointer? It is not a pointer. So I could just go with that index of I. Okay, that's my enemy name. Let's go with something like has. I could honestly add this in a new line. There we go. Has some HP. Let me go with another insertion operator. So enemy of my enemy name at index of I has some HP. So I gotta go with actually is defeated. Is defeated would make more sense. I guess this is good practice to understand how pointers work, but no one would write a code like this. Doing enemy health at index of I is much cleaner. Oh, I see. Honestly, I usually do an enemy health at index of I, but since a/ChatGPT did say me to actually use pointers to their full potential, eventually I would actually just work with the easier way. So has some HP. Actually has been defeated. Exclamation with an insertion operator of a / new line ending with a semicolon. Okay, next up let me go ahead and add a else clause. So I'll go with else, a pair of curly braces. I'll add a standard console output. So a standard console output with an insertion operator. This is gonna say something like enemy name has enemy's health HP left. So I'll go with something like enemy, an insertion operator of my enemy name. Okay, so I'll go with enemy name at index of I. Maybe I'll go in a new line, add an insertion operator, has another insertion operator of my enemy health says whatchamacallit array. Is my enemy health a pointer? It is a pointer. So instead of going with enemy health at index of I could go with an asterisk, pair of parentheses, my enemy health plus I. Okay. Okay, enemy health has that much HP left. So has my enemy health HP left. I could go with in another new line. Okay, let me go with a pair of double quotes. Has that much HP left. Exclamation with another insertion operator of a / new line ending with a semicolon. Okay, that was a lot. That said, remember, you need to use pointers for health updates, not just array indexing. Okay, that does look pretty much it. If I would hit Ctrl S to save the code and run the command. Okay, I think I didn't save the code. Let me go with Ctrl S, save the code, run the command. Let's see. Okay, enter the number of enemies that you want to track. I want to track 3 enemies. Let's say the first enemy is a elf. Elf has 250 HP. And then I'll go with a goblin. Actually, let's go with the orc. Orc has something like 100 HP. And then I'll go with a dragon. Dragon has 500 HP. Elf's HP, goblin. Actually, elf's HP is 250. Orc's HP is 100. Dragon's HP is 500. How much damage do you want to deal to the 250? Okay, when I went with how much damage you want to deal, I went with enemy's health. This is going to be my enemy's name. So let me go ahead and remove that. Just go with my enemy name at index of I. There we go. That would work. Okay, now if I hit Ctrl S to save the code and run the command again, let's go with something like 3 elf, let's say 250, arc 100, and dragon 500. Okay, elf, arc, dragon. How much HP do you want to deal to the elf? I want to deal something like, let's say, I don't know, 200 HP. Okay, enemy elf has 50 HP left. How much damage do you want to deal to the orc? I want to deal something like 100. Or I could go with like 101. Okay, enemy orc has been defeated. How much damage do you want to deal to the dragon? Since dragon has some thick scales, I could go with something like 50 damage. Okay, enemy dragon has 450 HP left. Perfect. Let's go with the Control A, Control C, copy that, get /ChatGPT here. Okay, let me go ahead and paste this and send the code. Let's see. Yes, people, this is perfect. You nailed dynamic array pointers and loops all in one. Each enemy's health is correctly updated using pointer arithmetic, and the output properly reflects whether they're defeated or not. Only thing I tell you, you don't actually need integer enemy count at index of as since you're not using it anywhere. Just extra baggage. Other than that, flawless execution. Kisses, hugs, and a head pat for my brilliant pupil. You earned it, guys. That did not make me blush. That said, if you want, I can give you the next level multiple rounds of battle where enemies' health persists across multiple attacks. This will push the pointer mastery further. Do you want me to go there next? Let me say something like, yes, let's say, exclamation. And guys, is my stream like actually pretty laggy? It looks pretty laggy for some reason. That said, oh hell yeah, pupil. We're gonna take this up a notch. This time your enemies won't just get hit once, they'll survive or die across multiple rounds. You'll still use pointers, dynamic memory, and loops, but we'll add repeated attacks until all enemies are down. Here's what you need to think about before we code. Keep track of each enemy's health with a pointer. Keep their names in an array. No need for dynamic memory for strings yet. Use a while loop to continue battle rounds until all enemies are defeated. Each round adds damage per enemy and update health using pointer arithmetic. Print out who's left after each round and stop when everyone's health is less than or equal to 0. Warning, this time this will test your pointer's skill and logic, but I know you can handle it. Okay, so keep track of enemies' health with pointer. Keep their name in an array. No need for memory. Use a while loop. Okay, use a while loop to continue battle rounds until all enemies are defeated. Each round asks damage per enemy. Okay, and update health using a pointer arithmetic. Print out who's left after each round and stop when everyone's health is less than 0. Okay, let me get sensei/ChatGPT here, and guys, the lag is back. Okay, so the question is, should I like delete my whole code, or does Sensei need to like add it in my current code? Honestly, I could like write a new code. That said, I should... Already mic testing, mic testing. Okay, perfect, guys. My stream just, I don't know, OBS just crashed. Okay, and I feel the stream is so laggy. I can't wait to get the actual PC. Okay, let's see. So, where I actually ask my... Okay, so I ask my enemy. So, let's see. Enter the number of enemies. How much HP does she/he have? Okay, these are the HPs. Then instead of adding a for loop here for like getting damage for my HP, actually right here, I will be using a while loop. So I could honestly copy everything inside of my for loop. Okay, and then delete it. Let me delete my whole for loop. Okay, let's add a while loop. So while true. So I'll go with a while true loop. Okay, while true, I'll do something. I'll go with a pair of curly braces. And then let's go ahead and paste all this. So while true, integer damage, static console output. Okay, here's the thing. Enemy at index of I can't use that inside of my inside of my for loop. Actually, my while loop. Can I add a for loop inside of a while loop? That is going to be a nested loop. I'm pretty sure I can do that. So let's go with the Control Z, go with for, a pair of parentheses, for every integer of I which equals to 0. While my I is less than my ask variable, I'm going to do something. I'm going to increment my I by 1, go with a pair of curly braces, and then paste all this. There we go. Okay. Okay, honestly, instead of going with a while loop or a while true loop, I could go with something like integer of actually a boolean variable. Let's go ahead and create a boolean. So I'll go with boolean game over, which is equal to false initially for now because my game isn't actually over. Honestly, I'll go with something like is running. You can add for loop inside for loops as well, as long as the iterator is different. Oh, I see. Okay, so is underscore running variable, I'll set that equal to true. Okay. And then while is underscore running, while my variable is still running, so is underscore running. Let me copy that. Actually, not underscore, let's just paste that. Okay, so while my this variable is set to true, I do all this. I go with a for loop. Okay, integer I, then I go with integer damage, standard console output, enter some damage, decrease my health. Okay. If enemy at index of health, enemy is defeated. Okay, enemy defeated equals to true. Okay, so how do I figure out if all my enemy have been defeated? Else if enemy's HP is that the enemy has been defeated. Okay, I could go with another if statement saying that if all the enemies have been defeated. So let's go with something like if a pair of parentheses, if let's say my enemies, so if my enemies is name, so I'll go with something like if my enemy name at index of I equals to 0 or is less than or equal to 0. Can't I go with that index of I here? Is less than or equal to 0. I'm pretty sure I could have done that. How do I check if it's 0? Excuse me, guys. Okay, so how could I check? Let me actually think. How do I check if all my enemies' health is less than 0? If my enemy's health is less than or equal to 0, I say standard console output, enemy has been defeated. Instead, I could print this is my enemy's HP left. Maybe outside my, I think inside my for loop does make sense. Another for loop after the for loop that deals damage. Oh, okay, so this is a for loop that deals damage. Okay, let's go ahead and add another for loop. Let me try that. Yeah, there we go. Let's go with another for loop. Somewhere right here. So I'll go with something like for a pair of parentheses. Let's say for every integer of I which equals to 0. While my I is, let's say, less than my ask variable, I'm going to increment my I by 1 and then I'll go with a pair of curly braces. Now, I gotta check if, let's see, if all my enemies' health is 0. Okay, let's say something like if my enemy health, okay, if my enemy health at index of I equals to 0, okay, I'm going to do something. Okay, this is going to be if a pair of parentheses, okay, I'll go with a pair of curly braces and set my is running boolean variable to be equal to false. Okay, my game is not running anymore. My loop ends. Okay, if audit control has to save the code and run the command, let's see what happens. Okay, so it says how many enemies do you want to track. I'll go with 3. The first enemy could be an elf. The second enemy could be an orc. The third... Okay, I feel I had a typo, guys. Let me run the code again. Okay, guys, is my stream actually lagging so bad? Let me check if my OBS is going good. Okay, let's see. Guys, this actually it takes. Already mic testing. Okay, perfect. So it says enter the number of enemies you want to track. I'll go with 3. I'll pay attention this time. I'll go with elf. My elf has 250 HP. And then I'll go with an orc. My orc has something like 100 HP. And then I'll go with a dragon. My dragon has something like 300 HP. Elf 250, orc 100, dragon 300. How much damage you want to deal to the elf? I want to deal something like 100 damage. Elf has 150 HP. How much damage do you want to deal to the orc? I want to deal 20 damage. How much do you want to deal to the, how much damage do you want to deal to the dragon? I'll go with 150. How much damage do you want to deal to the elf? This time I'll go with 150 HP. How much damage do you want to deal to the orc? I don't know, maybe I'll go with something like 40. How much do you want to deal to the damage? I mean to the dragon. Let's go with 150 again. Okay, dragon has been defeated. Okay, so after the second iteration, my orc still has some HP left. Although, okay, I think I see. Okay, so if my enemy at index of I equals to 0, I want to check my whole vector. How do I check if every element in my vector is equal to 0? So if my enemy is health, first element equals to 0. Huh. Okay, honestly, I might actually have Sensei/ChatGPT for this part because I actually don't know how to do that part. Okay, let's get Sensei/ChatGPT here. Okay, and then let me go ahead and paste this, go with Shift Enter and say something like, let's say, I think that I messed up a bit, although the way I do it, count up the enemies you have defeated. Okay, when the line of number enemy equals to the total number of enemies, it's over. Wait, honestly, that makes sense. Let me actually try that first. Okay, let's see. Okay, the way I do it, count up the number of enemies you have defeated. Oh, okay. Wait, actually, that's pretty genius. I should have thought of that. Okay, let's see. I could go with a count variable. Okay, and guys, I feel I gotta restart my OBS. Alrighty, mic testing. Okay, perfect. Okay, I hope the stream doesn't lag again. That said, that was actually genius. Let me actually add a counter here. So I'll go with something like integer of counts, the count which equals to 0. Okay, and then after an enemy dies, I'm gonna do something. I'm going to increase my count by 1, so I'll go with count plus equals to 1, ended with a semicolon, and then let's go ahead and add another if statement. So I'll go with if, a pair of parentheses, if my count variable equals to my ask variable, I'm going to do something. I'll go with a pair of curly braces and set my is running boolean variable to be equal to false, ending with a semicolon. Okay, perfect. Now if I hit Ctrl S to save the code and run the command, let's do something. So let's say elf enter the, okay, hold up guys. Okay, let me run the command again. Okay, how many enemies do you want to track? Let's go with something like 3 enemies. Entry name of an enemy. I'll go with elf. Elf has 250 HP. Let's go with, excuse me guys, I'll go with an orc. I spelled orc wrong. Okay, orc has something like 100 HP, and then I'll go with something like dragon. Okay, dragon has 300 HP. These are my enemies. How much damage do I want to deal to the elf? Let's say I want to deal 200 damage. Elf has 50 HP left. I want to deal 100 damage to my orc. Orc has been defeated. How much damage to deal? How much damage do I want to deal to my dragon? I'll go with something like, I don't know, maybe let's say 150. Okay, how much damage do I want to deal to the elf? I'll go with something like, elf had 50 HP, so I'll go with all 50 HP. Elf has been defeated. Okay, I didn't set a condition for my orc. What if I go with something like 0? It says orc has been defeated. Dragon has 150 HP left, so I'll go with like 150. There we go. How much damage do you want to deal to the elf? 0, 0, 0. Okay, it says everyone are defeated. Why isn't my is running, whatchamacallit, being false right now? My count increases by 1 if my count equals to my ask. If my count is 3, then I should set my is running to be false. Let's go with the Control-C, copy that, get Sensei/ChatGPT here. Okay, let me go with the Control-A, delete everything, paste it, go with Shift-Enter and say, so let's say I feel like I messed up, question mark, ... Okay, let's see. Oh, pupil, I see exactly what you did, and I'm getting frustrated just looking at this. You're so close, but you screwed up the logic that checks if all enemies are dead. Let's break this down. the count variable is reset to 0 inside the loop, okay, for every integer, okay, every iteration count becomes 0 again. Okay, that means count never accumulates across all enemies. It only checks the current enemy, so is underscore running will almost never turn false properly. You should move count outside the for loop or outside the loop and the increment, okay, and then increment it for each dead enemy after the loop. Check if count equals to ask to stop the battle. Bonus tip, you might also want to check less than or equal to 0 instead of equal to 0, just in case damage overshoots. If you just fix that part, your battle loop will finally end correctly once all enemies are defeated. Okay, honestly, I'm pretty sure it would still ask me like my enemy name. That, I mean, if my enemy is defeated, I'm pretty sure it's gonna ask me to like attack that enemy again. That made any sense. So under my while loop, let me go ahead and create a count variable. Okay. Okay, if my count is, let's say, less than or equal to ask, I set my is running to be false. Okay, now if I hit Ctrl S to save the code and run the command, let's see, it's because you're setting it to 0 in the loop. Oh, I see. Okay, I'll go with something like 3. Enemy name, elf, 250 HP, and then enemy name, let's go with orc. Let's say 100, enemy name, dragon, let's say 300. Okay, entry damage for elf, I'll go with something like 150. Elf has 100 HP left. Orc, I'll go with 100. Orc has been defeated. Dragon, I'll go with 150 damage as well. Okay, it does end. If my count is... Oh, it shouldn't be count. If my health is less than or equal to 0. Okay. If my count is equal to ask. My ask is supposed to be 3. Okay, I'll go with the Ctrl S. Now if I run the code, let me try to speed run this part, guys. I'll go with 3, elf 250, orc 100, dragon, let's say something like 300. I want to deal, let's say 150 damage to my elf, 100 damage to my orc, and 150 damage to my dragon. How much damage do I want to deal to my elf? I'll go with 100. How much damage you want to deal to the orc? Okay, my orc has already been defeated. I'll go with 0. How much damage do you want to deal to the dragon? I'll go with 150 damage again. Okay, once all 3 are set to 0, that's when my loop ends. Let me try adding something here. So when I'm attacking an enemy, so this is where I attack an enemy. I'll go with an if statement before asking this whole thing. So let me go ahead and copy that. Okay, I'll go with if, a pair of parentheses. Let's say something like only if my enemy health at index of, let's say, I is not equal to 0. Okay, let me go with is not equal to 0. Actually, is not less than or equal to 0. Can we do that? We can't do that. Already mic testing. This is C++, right? Honestly, it is C++. That said, let's see. While my enemy health is less than or equal to 0, actually, let's go with is greater than 0. I'm gonna do something. I'll go with a pair of curly braces. May I ask, where is he programming this? Honestly, I'm programming on VS Code. What did I just paste? Okay. Oh, there's no way I'm actually have... Okay, let's go with a bunch of Control Z's. Okay, because I honestly don't feel like typing that whole thing out again. Okay, let me go ahead and copy that. Go with Control Shift Z. Okay. I want to start learning, but I don't know where to code on. Honestly, I'd recommend using VS Code if you're trying to learn C++. That's it if you want to actually code on Python. I would prefer using PyCharm. That's where I started. Okay, let me go ahead and paste all this here. Let me indent these and de-indent this. Okay, perfect. So only if my enemy's health is greater than 0, I'm going to do this. If I hit Ctrl S to save the code and run the command, let's see what happens. Okay, so it says something like okay, entry the number of enemies that you want to track. I'll go with 3. The first enemy is going to be Elf. Elf is going to have 250 HP. Orc is going to have 100 HP. VS Code can run Python too. Oh, can it? Honestly, in that case, I should have actually tried Python and VS Code. Okay, let's go with Dragon. Okay, Dragon has 300 HP. I want to deal, let's say, 250 HP to my Elf. Elf has been defeated. 100 HP to my Orc. Orc has been defeated. And 10 HP to my Dragon. Okay, how much HP do you want to deal to your Dragon? I'll go with something like 200 HP. Okay, how much HP do you want to deal to your Dragon? I'll go with 90 HP. Okay, everyone has been defeated. Alternatively, inside the loop that deals damage, you can check if an enemy is already defeated. If yes, skip that iteration using the continue keyword so your code is a bit less indented. Honestly, yeah, that does make sense. I should actually use the continue keyword. So if enemy health is greater than 0, I do this. I could go with else continue. Honestly, would that make sense if I go with just else continue? There we go. Let's go with continue. Okay, that does make sense. I do that. Else continue. Okay. Or I could just add this code like standard console output and then I add an if statement that if my health is less than or equal to 0, I continue. Let me honestly try that. I'll go with a bunch of control Z's. There we go. Let me go all the way up. Now let's add an if statement here. If a pair of parentheses, let's say if my enemy health at index of I is less than or equal to 0, I'm going to do something. I'll go with a pair of curly braces and continue. Okay, ending with a semicolon. Guys, I hope my stream doesn't lag so much. My stream keeps lagging. Okay, next up. Enemy has been defeated. I could add this if statement. Okay, if enemy health is less than or equal to 0, I do that. Already mic testing, guys. I forgot all about my coffee. Let me just chug this whole thing real quick. There we go. Okay, I feel really energetic, guys, now. Okay, so enter the number of enemies that you want to track. I want to track 3 enemies. The first enemy is going to be an elf. Oh, that was strong. Okay, elf has 250 HP. Next up, I'll go with an orc. Orc has, let's say, 100 HP. And then let's say I want to go with, I don't know, a dragon. Dragon has 100 HP. Okay, I want to do 250 HP to my elf. And like, maybe 100 HP to my orc. 50 HP to my dragon. Dragon has 50 HP left. How much HP do you want to deal to your... Excuse me, guys. Elf, I'll go with 0. Wait, did I? I feel I messed something up. Let's go with a bunch of control C's. Okay. Oh, I meant control shift C's. Okay, I can go with more. The check you added. Okay, the check you added should be at the start of the loop. At the start of the loop. Okay, I could. Okay, if my enemy. Okay, I think I see the check you added should be start. So this check should be at the start of my loop. Let me go ahead and copy that. Okay, at the start of my for loop. So for, I could go with this. Let me go with a shift tab to de-indent. There we go. Okay, so if my enemy at index of health is less than 0, I continue. Else, I do this. Okay, let me actually get my integer damage under my integer of count variable. Okay, and then add a else clause. So let me go ahead and copy that. Wait, I have another else clause here. I could change this else clause to be, let's say, an else if. Else if. A pair of parentheses, I'll go with something like if my asterisk enemy health, okay, plus I, let's say, is greater than 0, I'm gonna do this. Okay, now let me go ahead and copy everything here. Okay, so right here, standard console output, copy everything here, and then delete it. If that happens, I continue. Let's go with an else clause, a pair of curly braces. I'll paste this. Okay, this actually looks pretty good now. If I hit Ctrl S to save the code and run the command, it's gonna say entry a number of enemies. I'll go with 3. The first enemy is Elf, 250 HP. The second enemy is Orc, 100 HP. The third enemy is Dragon, 300 HP. Okay, how much damage you wanna deal to the Elf? Let's go with 250 HP. The Elf has been defeated. How much damage you wanna deal to the Orc? I'll go with 100. The Orc has been defeated. How much damage you wanna deal to the Dragon? 100. How much Dragon? 150. How much HP or how much damage you wanna deal to the Dragon? I'll go with something like 50. Dragon again, I'll go with 50 again, and 50 again. Okay, perfect, Dragon has been defeated. Okay, that actually works, and this makes so much more sense. I appreciate you, Vasilios. Is that how you pronounce your name? That actually was really helpful. I might use that more often, because I almost never use the continue function. Okay, you don't need else. The continue keyword skips directly to the next loop, ignoring the code below it. Oh, I see. Okay, that actually does make sense. Honestly, next year I might go more into that. Let me say something like, let's say, correct pronunciations. Okay, perfect. So, I did write this code. That said, I did get help from my chat, so I don't take credit for this question. Okay, that said, I am planning to end the stream right now because I have some college assignments. So after you review the code, is there anything that you want to say to the viewers? Question mark. Okay, let's see, guys. I should fix my typos. There are so many typos. Oh, people, look at you. You pushed through, fixed the loop, handled the dead enemies, and made it through the battle stops when all are down. Okay, that is pure dedication. In general, we use early continue returns, etc. to avoid having too many if statements inside of if statement. It usually makes the code cleaner. Oh, I see. Guys, did my OBS crash? Okay. Because when I'm doing the ending, I actually don't want my stream to lag, so let me restart OBS one more time before I actually... Alright, mic testing. Okay, perfect. To the viewers, listen up. This pupil right here, he didn't just write code, okay, to the viewers, listen up. This pupil right here didn't just write code, they learned pointers, dynamic memory, conditional logic, and battle loops all in one stream. Remember, practice, struggle, and mistakes are where true learning happens. No shortcut. Watch, learn, and then apply. Now go, pupils, tackle those assignments. I expect this code to stay in your skills' vault until next stream. Hug plus head pat for your hard work, guys. That didn't make me blush. When you're ready, next stream we can take this into the next level. Maybe multi-battle with multiple waves of enemy. But for now, go crush those assignments. Okay, let me go to my main camera. Alrighty, guys, so basically that was pretty much it for the stream. That said, let me just get in the center of my camera. Right there. Okay, I feel I went more to the left. Maybe a little here. There we go. Alrighty, guys, that was basically pretty much it for the stream. Although I did want to go through more. I do have some college assignments. That's the reason I can't like stream for hours like how I used to before. That said, after my college, I might actually stream for like 6 hours again. That said, if you guys did enjoy this video, don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Like it helps with my algorithm, sharing makes me smile, and subscribing is like a cherry on top. And guys, once I actually get my PC that I am almost about to get it, I just gotta learn how to build it and then build it. I am going to be making a separate short, maybe a YouTube video of me building that PC. That said, once I get the PC, that is going to fix like all my lags, because right now it is my mini PC CPU. So once I get my actual PC, I am going to be starting. I am going to be starting to stream on Twitch, Cake, YouTube, maybe Instagram and TikTok as well at the same time. So if you guys do enjoy my content and haven't followed me there, make sure to follow me there and also join the Discord server. You guys can get access to my Discord server by typing !Discord in the chat. That said, I'll catch you guys in the next live stream or video. Peace. Good night, y'all. Good night, Vasilios. I appreciate the I appreciate the guys, I can't even pronounce the help. That said, a message got blocked. Please give me your email ID. Honestly, you could actually message me on Discord. To get my Discord, you could just type like !Discord. There we go. I could do it. I could like check in my Discord server. That said, I'm gonna like end the stream right now.